Welcome back, Year 7. So we are coming now to the second part of our drawing for our second lesson. And today we're going to be adding shading. Now I'm going to use pencil today because I recognize that maybe not everyone has pencil crayon at home. So what I've done to help me out a little bit is I looked at the original image I was copying from on my computer and I've turned it to grayscale. So this is going to help me to accurately identify the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights, which is 1 star. Okay, I've drawn a value scale here just to remind you what we're looking at. So 5 is pure black, 4 is a dark gray, 3 is a medium gray, 2 is light gray, and 1 is white. So for this purpose, 1 is going to be the color of the paper. I'm not going to put any pencil marks down. Now, my value scale here has 5 steps, but you can see value scales that have as many as 8 steps or even 10 steps. Okay? You could even have a simple value scale. Technically, this is a value scale, which just shows me shadow, black, midtone, medium gray, and highlights. So very basic. You should be able to show me at least these 3, shadows, midtones, and highlights, for 1 star. For 2 stars, you should be able to show me a full range of value. And for 3 stars, we're going to try to focus on the details today, being as accurate as possible, and even trying to get the texture. So the first thing we need to do is look at my original image. And what I like to start with is the shadows. Now, I'm not going to shade this whole thing in front of you today because I'm already quite confident in your shading skills from what you've learned this year, but we're just applying these skills to more and more difficult images that we're copying as we go along. So I'm just going to give you a few reminders that we need to consider when we're shading. Okay, so have a look at how sharp my pencil is. It's not too sharp because then it will make pointy, scratchy lines, but it's not dull either. And the first thing I'm going to start with is my shadows. So I'm looking at my original image and I'm picking out the pure dark areas. If I put all of the black areas first, then I know that everything else has to be lighter than that. So I'll just do a little bit of an example here where I'm going to find that the bottom of the seal is pure black. So I don't want to hold my pencil straight down like this. That's going to make scratchy lines. I want to hold it tilted. Okay, so I'm shading smoothly along the curve of the shape. Remember, even a seal is a 3-dimensional object, and we need to follow the curve of the shape. Where I know it's pure black, I can press a little bit harder. I'd rather go over it more than once. See, now I'm going over it and it's getting a little bit darker. That way I don't accidentally go too dark. And then, as I see in my picture that the seal gets lighter, I'm pressing lighter. Okay, so this is all about controlling the pressure on your pencil. Okay, notice I'm making round movements. That's what's going to make it look really smooth. Okay, so now I've shaded the majority of my sea lion, and now I'm going to really just double check all my fine details. I've sharpened my pencil to get the really fine details, and I've got my eraser in my hand. So this is a kneadable eraser. Obviously, if you don't have one, you can use a normal eraser, but try to get a pointy one. Okay? I'm gonna go in first and look at my shadows. and think, okay, is there anywhere else that needs really dark emphasis? So with my really pointy tip, then I can start adding in the details, especially on the face. So my pointy tip is just going to help me refine even more. I know that where parts of the body meet the limbs, like this flipper behind, should be really, really, really dark, so I can exaggerate that a little bit. Okay, just a little few touch-ups. You can see I spent a lot of time on the tail because this is a really good opportunity for me to get 3 stars. Every single little section is a separate shape. And I'm just getting in the cracks there. So now I'm going to go in with my eraser and I'm going to look for my 1s and 2s, and just to make sure they're obvious, I'm just going to clean up this edge at the same time. So we've got a bit more highlight here than I added in my shading, and I'm just going to pull it out with my eraser. This is the last thing you should be doing. Finishing touches with your eraser, and we're done. We'll erase my 2 because I don't need it anymore. And voila, we have a finished drawing.